Hi everyone, Kelly Macdonald, your off-road chef with the sexy Sportmobile behind me. Car camping segment, whatever it may be, a boat, a plane. We actually saw a plane land and take off here today on the lake. Maybe be a houseboat, whatever your camping desires are as far as being able to bring more equipment with you as a car camping. So today we're going to do something. We got a shout out from a few folks that want keto. Keto is a really fun, high protein way of eating, a diet, if you will. Some people just eat that way. It's not just a diet. So keto, high fat, carbs, lower acids in vegetables. So we're gonna do blue cheese, Maytag blue cheese, fresh opal basil, basil from my garden, sweet basil, local Sonoma chicken tenders, tomatoes from my garden, my ranch, and a Haas avocado. So I'm gonna build this with a little bit of bacon as the grease. So we're not using any other cooking oils. And so we're actually gonna use this bacon as a garnish. So it'll have two purposes. But really what we're trying to do is stay away from all the other oils and just eat the high protein fats, if you will, for this dish. So what we're gonna do is we're actually going to make like a raw and cooked stack of raw tomatoes with the Maytag blue cheese and the fresh chiffonade of basil, which is just ribbon, a very fine basil cut at the very last minute, and a little salt and pepper. So should be a lot of fun. Avocado, another big fat fan. I love avocado. You know what I do with avocado as a dessert? I just sprinkle a little salt and pepper on it, cut it in half, and I eat it right out of the skin with a spoon. I love avocado. I dream of them. So we're gonna have that in there. So we have our bacon, and all we're trying to do, this is applewood smoked bacon, so we'll get a nice smoky flavor. But all we're trying to do is kind of melt this, not really cook the bacon that much, just get enough fat in there. And 2 strips is plenty for the portion size that I'm doing. Today we're just doing one. I'm gonna do one nice plate. So you could always times this by, 4 chicken tenders instead of 2. So 2 nice tenders. A little salt and pepper mix. As we've talked about in some of my other segments, I mix it all together. This is easy for travel. Not too much because things are blowing around. This isn't staged. This is the real deal. We're out in the elements just like you would be if you were doing this recipe. So, feel like I'm in a Vidal Hair Sassoon commercial. How's that? The wind's taking it. All right, so here we go. We're gonna turn up this heat because it's not doing what I want. Meanwhile, we're gonna take our avocado. I had a thought. So going back to this in grease or oil. When you're cooking, I know grease is such a harsh word, but when you're cooking with oils and natural oils like fats, you want just enough to where it's not sticking. You don't need to fry it like fried chicken. You just want to make sure it's not sticking, and that little bit of flavor will really add a lot. So you don't need a lot of oil. So these are my tomatoes, fresh out of the garden this morning. And what we're going to do is take a clean towel. Just make sure they're nice and clean. I'm going to show you a secret of how not to waste an heirloom tomato. Heirloom tomatoes grow funky, kind of like me. And they're just, each one is different, and there's sometimes a lot of waste in them. So one of the things you can do on the core is you core your tomato on about a 45 towards the center of the tomato and just take out that core. So then this way, you're not wasting the top of the tomato and you can actually use it. The other thing is with heirloom tomatoes, you always get these belly buttons or scores on the bottom that you can't see. Our chicken's cooking now. You can't really avoid. So you can always cut around them and use that tomato, except the piece, so you're not wasting. I've seen people just throw away half a tomato. It's like, oh my God, you don't need to do that. So we're gonna take 3 pieces of that there, and then I'm gonna see how this didn't stick at all. And now, you might have seen me do this in other segments. I'm just gonna put the bacon on top, because again, I don't wanna really crisp it and give that flavor to this dish. What I really wanna do is I don't want it to be overwhelming with bacon. I want the bacon flavor, but I also want the chicken flavor. You know, again, layers in food, no matter where you are, food should taste great. And what fun to be able to cook like this and use these techniques in the great outdoors. So the next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna take our blue cheese. This is Maytag blue cheese. Cheese is my heroin. I love cheese. I dream of it. So I'm gonna use a fair amount of it right on the bottom of this plate. So I do a lot of what they call Napoleon style cooking. Napoleon, like making stacks like a Napoleon in the cooking world. I'm just calling this a stack because I want you to eat it and eat all these wonderful flavors, raw and cooked together, is my whole idea. Plus, it's gonna be sexy on the plate. And not hard to do. So our chicken is almost done. And cast iron cooking, so this was my great grandmother's. She was 100% Portuguese, and my great grandmother was given this pot to my grandma, and my grandma willed it to me. And I take it, instead of hanging it somewhere, I use it, and I pay tribute to my memories with my grandmother teaching me how to cook and how to use things like this. And other segments, you'll see me do deep dish sweets, and almost like pies or Spanish tortillas and things like that with cast iron. So you're gonna see a lot of cast iron with me. I love it. When you're not carrying it on your back and you can carry it in your sportsmobile. All right, so we're gonna wait on that just one more minute. Now we're gonna do our avocado. So the avocado is something you wanna do last minute, a la minute, because it's going to turn brown and you want it to be, to me, when an avocado starts to oxidize, it actually has a different flavor. When it's cut at the last moment, it's delicious. So I'm going to turn off my, ooh, that's nice and quiet. I'm going to turn off my chicken and my bacon. It's all ready to go. It really did not stick in this pan at all, which I'd like to show you. And there's really not a lot of any oil in the pan. It's just nice and caramelized a little bit. The chicken's nice and brown. So we're gonna set that aside. And another thing about cast iron cooking is when you turn it off, it's still cooking for a while because it's hot. So we're gonna take this beautiful avocado. I'm gonna show you a secret. So what I do is I don't cut all the way through the skin. And then when I get what I want, then I do. Then I take all my peel like this, and I have a perfect fan. I mean, you're my fans, but I have a perfect fan on the plate. I crack myself up. All right, where do I get this stuff? All right, so then we're gonna go, it's almost like a BLT without the lettuce. All right, you're gonna say, I know you're already saying, I can hear you from here. You're gonna say, why would you take the beautiful avocado and hide it? You know what? I love taking treasures and letting you find them underneath, because I know it's going to eat better this way. I know that if you had mayonnaise, you don't put the mayonnaise on the outside unless you're doing a grilled cheese the way my mom used to. You put the mayonnaise in the sandwich. So what is the mayonnaise? Where's all this yummy protein and fun things happening? Well, your cheese is down there. It's going to melt a little bit. Your tomatoes are going to get a little bit tepid, but not cooked. And then you have your avocado that's going to get a little bit lukewarm from all this heat, and it's just going to melt in your mouth, not in your hands. Wait a minute. That's somebody else's commercial. Anyway, I hope you enjoy it. I'm going to do one last thing that I think you'll appreciate. I'm going to take a little basil and a little opal basil. And I don't garnish unless it makes sense. And what I mean by that is, does it go with the dish, or is it just for color? Don't cook for color, cook for flavor. And then think outside the box of what goes with it, what you like. Maybe you like oregano and you don't like basil. It'll still taste good with it and look pretty. So we're gonna dance this with a little fresh basil. I'll throw you some. This is Kelly Macdonald, your off-road chef, saying, I wish you were here to eat this with me. See you next time.